Hello.
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 Let's go! Hey, kids.
Hey, Dad.
War crimes will be prosecuted.
Let's have a Liberty City, burn it to the ground.
Does the word mean anything to you?
Yeah, I chose this profession, so therefore I earned beer.
You want to go to the matinee?
The feeling is definitely there.
You don't know my name!
It's a new morning in America.
This is the old dude, Howard J. Reynolds.
Step into my office.
Not going to be too many punks.
Don't you stop worrying about the punk?
That's my name.
Yeah, let's go to the punk rock show.
Introducing for your listening pleasure.
Here it is. Here we go. Episode 71 of the High Fives podcast. The truth is out there. Michael,
Nathan,
how are you?
I'm all right. Minus the lingering smoke filling our city.
It's a conspiracy.
Everything's a conspiracy.
That's right.
That's what I learned about this topic is everything's a conspiracy.
Well, let's share that topic. The top 5 songs connected to a conspiracy. Is that a good?
Yeah, that's a great way to
connected.
Word it. Connected.
Okay, good. Because we know how much everyone doesn't like when we get too specific. When we get too specific or we get too esoteric, people don't like that.
Word of the day calendar, Nate?
Yeah. Are you impressed?
I am.
Good. Then it worked. Thank you for the Christmas gift. But like when you use words like connected to, well, then it starts to broaden that brush out a little bit. And we're here for you, the listeners. So, we like to make things easy. We like to make things engaging. And that's where you come in, Mike.
Well, I'm not easy or engaging. I like to make things complicated for no reason at all.
It's a pretty broad topic.
Yes.
Depending on where you fit in the world. Like, I feel like in today's day and age, in the year 2021, like anything could now and likely is being argued that it's a conspiracy.
And the worst thing is you can find a group that'll agree with you and go with it. Like,
right. That community is ready and waiting to support you.
I know we've talked about this before, but like, I really miss old conspiracy stuff. Like when I was a kid, I loved unsolved mysteries and I liked supernatural stuff. And I liked thinking about like, oh, maybe the moon landing's fake, or maybe there's alligators in the sewer, or maybe Michael Jordan didn't or quit the NBA because of a gambling problem. Like,
right.
And I like aliens and cryptozoic creatures, all that kind of stuff. Like, it was fun to think about it. It was even fun to think about the Kennedy assassination. Like, oh, maybe there's something way more crazy.
The good old days of conspiracy.
But like, you didn't really think much of it other than an entertainment value or like candid conversation you had with some friends.
Sure.
Or something. And now it's politicized. And that's that's the major problem is everything's politicized. So,
well, I mean, Aliens was always politicized, right? But that one was even fun for a time. I feel like that was the most kind of like triggering for people was Aliens.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, it's triggering. I mean, some of them are triggering. I mean, some of the people that allegedly this stuff happens to, I'm sure it's triggering to them anyway.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm a big skeptic with most things other than the earth being flat, because that one makes a lot of sense.
Right. And so your t-shirt would echo.
Yes.
I saw something on Twitter the other day and it was like a big campaign. Like it was multi photos of all kinds of different people in a group carrying signs, like talking about how birds are fake. And I looked at it and was like, this can't be real. Like there are not people that believe that birds are fake. And sure enough, there was like, there was text going along with it saying like, the government has created birds as a way to like monitor us and stuff. And it was like, it was later, confirmed that this was just like a group of people like making fun, like pulling a joke.
Oh, okay.
But like, I feel like that's fairly dangerous in today's world. Like,
yeah.
You know, that old joke of like Sasquatch, or that old like, you know, urban legend of Nessie, you know, like those were fun, and it's no longer fun. Like the whole conspiracy thing, it's a loaded like negative word now, as opposed to kind of like you say, like that, like, I don't know, there was that mystique that surrounded it before.
Yeah, for sure. And it was like, yeah, again, it was just conversation pieces. It was like, oh, what if this is the case? But you never really put much like stock into something like that, because you're just like, oh, that's crazy. But yeah, it'd be fun to think about this is real, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's in the off chance it's real. Like maybe they didn't go to the moon. Maybe Stanley Kubrick filmed it. And like we were saying before, like those
Right.
t-shirts are hilarious. And maybe there's some stuff that line up for it. But it's just gotten to the point where like people, because they post on the internet and they find other people that agree and they make it credible to some degree. And like even doing this, you can get lost. Like I did a lot of listening to conspiracy podcasts during this, and as skeptical as I am, when you're listening to it, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And then you're like, no, wait, that's stupid.
Right.
But like, do you remember the first time someone told you that they thought the earth was flat, or like you knew somebody that was like, believe that?
Like in recent events, like
I don't think I ever heard it
recent times.
Like, I don't think I ever heard it when I was younger, even other than like Christopher Columbus times.
Right.
But like, I don't think I remember hearing anybody ever being like citing, and then all of a sudden it became a thing, and like legitimate people like you were like, how do you think that? And these are people you like trusted and or liked as friends, or like athletes or something. You're just like, what? Like, what's going on? Who's giving credibility to this shit? Right.
Well, and what does anyone have to gain by convincing people that the earth is flat?
I don't know.
Where's the gain?
I guess in that one for sure is not a thing. But like, I don't know if you saw the documentary Q Into a Storm.
I don't think so.
It's basically about how QAnon started, and like its ties to like message boards and all this stuff. And like, I think at the heart of it, some of these people think it's real. There's money being made. That's some of it. There's people that are having a good time just with it, like being like, but I don't think they understand the dangers of it. And I think it got too big that it became even more dangerous than it ever should have been.
Well, that's just the thing. Like with like this whole joke of like birds aren't real, like, and that's how things like QAnon start.
Yeah, exactly. So now someone takes that and then they go and then they say, oh, my doctor worked with the government and he says it's true. And then somebody's mom reads that and it's like, well, a doctor said it. Why would they lie? This is a credible source.
Right.
And it just goes and goes and goes. And we end up where we are now with this like a fucked up world where we can't even get through a pandemic with like, where we listen to science to try to get us out. Instead, we're listening to like a fucking bonkers like chiropractor tell us that vaccines aren't all right. And like a large chunk of people like, oh, well, that chiropractor seems to know what they're talking about.
What is a science, Mike? Can you clarify that for us?
A science?
Yeah. What is a science?
I don't know what a science is. I did learn that cryptozoic is the science of studying like mythical creatures.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There's an actual science to studying mythical creatures.
Science is credible science would be giving it too much credit.
Okay.
So Nate, what have you been listening to?
Oh, listen to that segue.
That was a poor segue.
But an attempt nonetheless. And that's part of your New Year's resolution.
Well, we could keep going on, but we can just talk when we talk about the conspiracies that are tied to our songs.
We can talk when we talk, Mike. That's a good time, I think.
Talk.
Well, let me start off with a band all about talking. The band is called Talk Show Host. How do you like that segue?
That was perfect.
I don't think we should have taken me off the segues.
Yeah, you probably should have.
You've got to
I got to learn.
Got to stretch your wings. What if you quit? You got to fly.
What if you quit on me and I got to keep going?
Right? Yeah. This is your training.
Yes.
Right here. It's a brand new album. It came out in 2021. The album is called Mid-Century Modern. It's their debut full length. I don't know if you knew that, Mike. Follow up to 2 EPs. They're a Toronto band. They're on Wiretap Records, and it feels like a Wiretap record. Like Do you feel like Wiretap Records kind of has a sound? You know, like Fat used to have a sound, or Epitaph used to have a sound. Like Wiretap's definitely got like a sound. And I don't mean that it all sounds the same, but like when you hear a band from that label, you're like, oh yeah, they're from Wiretap.
Yeah, I see that for sure. I get, to me, Wiretap kind of reminds me of like Vagrant Records.
Okay.
Do you see that parallel? Like at one point I was like, are the people that ran Vagrant running Wiretap?
I always felt like Vagrant like had a bigger like hardcore roster than
Maybe. I guess I associate
Wiretap.
bands like Get Up Kids and Alkaline with Vagrant and things like that, and like Automatic 7.
It's pretty varied, I guess. Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong or you're right on a subjective topic, Mike.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it.
That's what I like to hear.
It doesn't feel like it sounds like anyone else. Like it's definitely got its own vibe. It's a mid-tempo pop punk kind of record, but I really like it. It's
really
definitely
like it too.
caught my ear. Yeah, cool. I like that you're listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
My next pick for what I've been listening to is Discomfort Creature. Now, this is 7 songs. You call it an EP or a full length, or is it in the gray area?
That's the super gray area, hey?
Right? It's very gray.
Mm-hmm.
It's very gray. They're short songs too, so I'm leaning more towards the EP side of things.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know that that's an actual like measurement for EPs, but like it's as close to a measurement as I can become. It's got kind of like Green Day vibes, kind of like older Green Day, kind of like Gamut's vibes, very like fast paced for the most part. Really solid songwriting, great songs. And I think the reason that it has like those Gamut's vibe is because Chris Fogel of the Gamuts actually is in this band.
Well, that'll help that for sure.
That'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. And the last one, I mean, I feel like we haven't done this in forever, and I couldn't remember what I'd talked about before, but I feel like we've had some people on the show, so we haven't really done this in a while.
Mm-hmm.
There could have been like 20 records that I talked about here tonight, but I'm going to limit it to 3, Michael, because we've clearly got a lot to unpack with the conspiracy theories. The last one is the new Raging Nathans.
Oh, so
Waste
good.
My Heart. It is good. It's really good. Less than a year from their last full length, which is absolutely bonkers to me. It's crazy.
Did you see that they released another 2 songs the other day?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on there? That's a lot.
It's not like this is a B-sides record either. This is a complete not disconnect, but it's like a completely different album with a completely different sound and vibe than last year's.
Yeah, I think this one's even better. I liked last year's a lot, but I think this one's like significantly better.
I don't know if it's better, but I would say it's got a different sound. I think it's more of an accessible sound and like instantly transported back to like that late 90s, early 2000s skate punk.
The kind you'd hear in Tony Hawk?
I mean,
without vocals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was the first conspiracy.
The first ever. It's number 1 on the list of conspiracies the world has seen.
That's your Mandela effect.
Is that right?
Yeah. Do you know what the Mandela effect is?
I don't think so, but I have a feeling you do.
I do.
Okay.
The Mandela effect is basically like this idea that there's like alternate time. I don't know if it's an alternate timeline thing, but like stuff is shifted in time. So like, but we still have blips of memory of things from before. But when you like actually look it up, it's not true. Like, so like spelling of Berenstain Bears or
right.
Like the sunglasses on the Raisin Bran cereal.
Yeah. Okay.
So your Mandela effect is whether or not there was vocals in Tony Hawk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. At least there's like a reason. There's some science behind it, right?
Yeah, science.
Yeah.
Credible science.
That's it, Mike. That's all I've got for you.
That's what you got? All right. Well, Nathan, I've been listening to quite a bit, as usual. And the first one is the Von Erichs. Do you know the Von Erichs?
I mean, I know the wrestlers, and I've watched their episode on Dark Side of the Ring, but I don't know the band, the Von Erichs.
So the Von Erichs are, from what I can tell, like super group of like pop punk bands. I don't know who's actually in it, but it's on Mom's Basement Records. The album is called First Blood Match. It's like pop punk Ramones core with a wrestling theme. So you kind of checked all the boxes for me. I think you would
Pretty
enjoy.
niche.
Yeah, I think you'd like it. Especially since I know you've been watching Dark Side of the Ring. So all these sort of things kind of melt together.
Is it just about the Von Erichs too?
No. Like,
oh, it's not.
there's a song about Jim Neidhart. There's a song about Macho Man and Hulk Hogan doing blow.
So they expanded their theme, I suppose, beyond just
the Von Erichs.
So it's not just like the Randy Savages.
No.
Where they're very much more specific about their namesake.
This is more of a WWF because it wasn't even WWE at the time.
That's right.
Centric album.
Good.
The next one's The Real Sickies, Love Is for Lovers. They're from Edmonton. I think this might end up being a top 10 for me. It's a really solid album. Like,
when's the last time you did a top 10, Mike?
Okay. Nate.
Let's call it what it is. Let's get the scientists in the room.
The Power 100.
Yes, that's much closer to the actual premise of your
Mike's Power 100
show.
of 2021.
That's right.
Anyway, they're from Edmonton. It's out on Stomp. If you like the previous Real Sickies albums, you'll probably like it. It's a little crisper, a little bit more production put into it, I think.
I'd say so. I really like it. I think it's a great album.
Yeah, I'm big on it. Next one's a band called Total Wolf. The album's Nobody Loves You. They're a punk thrash band from Medicine Hat. It features Jeff of the Browns and Showdown 76. It's put out on Wasted Wax last year. I kind of forgot about it. And then I was watching the Kiss documentary that A&E put out a couple weeks ago, and it kind of put me back in a Kiss mood. So I was putting together a Kiss playlist, and I forgot that Total Wolf covered Black Diamond on this, which got me listening to the album, and it's been on repeat for me. So not just the cover, the whole album. It's really good. It's better than I even remembered it. So last one is a band called Bicycle Inn. The album is This Time and Place I'll Never Know. They're an emo indie rock band from Boston, and if you're into like kind of emo revival bands the last few years, I think this would be your jam. And that's what I've been listening to, Nate.
Wow, I feel like you really compressed that into like top choices.
I had to fit it in the time slot.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. The advertisers appreciate it too.
Oh, the advertising's coming out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it tonight, or do you want me to do it?
You can do it.
Let's just skip it tonight.
Okay. They don't care.
Their check hasn't cleared yet.
Well, I took the money.
Yeah.
How do you?
Okay. So it's just me that thought the check didn't clear.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad this stuff always gets aired out in the recording.
It's just a conspiracy against you.
Yeah, it's important. Mike, my first choice tonight is of the fun-loving variety.
All right.
It's of a conspiracy, an age-old conspiracy, let's say. A conspiracy from yesteryear, Michael. Now, some people, depends on who you talk to, might think that this was obvious. And I agree. On some level, if you thought of it, it would be obvious. But it took me a while to think of it. Like it was weeks, because I think we talked about, maybe we didn't talk about this weeks ago. Feels like I've been picking this episode for weeks, but like it is not an instant click. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's that obvious, but maybe you do. Maybe others out there do. So once again, this is a song about a mythical creature, and that mythical creature, or urban legend, maybe not mythical, I don't know. A conspiracy of sorts, Michael. This creature is called the chupacabra.
Oh, yeah.
Does that seem obvious to you?
Well, it wasn't.
Or are you just thinking of it right now for the very first time?
it did come up once in my head, but then
One time, but like really briefly, like was barely a thought.
barely a thought. But if it's what I think it is, it's a good pick.
Well, the song's called Chupacabra. It's by local hometown heroes, Chicks Dig It, off the album Born on the 1st of July, which really ties in this whole episode because we're recording this in July.
That's quite the tie-in, Nate.
Right?
You did a good job there.
Full disclosure, this song is likely a metaphor for something else. But, you know, who am I to say? The song's titled Chupacabra. The chorus states it's gonna reach right out and grab ya. On face value, this fits.
The chupacabra could do that.
Do you know what a chupacabra is, Mike?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little like bat like demonic dog thing, right?
Well, kind of.
I know, I've seen
got
pictures of it, or like drawings of what
pictures. I've seen technical photographs
But it's from
of the mythical creature
it's
called
from
the chupacabra.
Mexico, right?
Well, it's all over the Americas, actually.
Oh, interesting.
South Americas, North America. They've seen them in Maine. They allegedly. I feel like there was a story about a New Jersey chupacabra.
Well, there's the Jersey Devil.
Oh, the Jersey Devil. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not the same as the chupacabra.
Yeah.
Though I feel like they're similar.
I think they might be similar.
Maybe just a different name. Nonetheless, a chupacabra is described as a being that drinks the blood of livestock.
Nice.
Often like described as similar to a dog, which was what you were describing. It's also been described as a lizard or even an alien.
Yeah.
So I think all three of those are very different. None of them really line up to being the same thing. That's a pretty broad spectrum of what the chupacabra looks like. An alien dog lizard.
Well, we don't know what aliens look like, so.
Or dogs or lizards.
Or the combo.
So who knows? Who knows what it looks like?
Something like the chupacabra is almost easier to believe in because you can be like, well, we don't know all the animals that are around. So maybe there is an animal that like is hunting like cows at night. You know,
I feel like it's a mangy wolf.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's the obvious answer to what a chupacabra is.
Yeah, probably.
But there are communities out there that scream conspiracy when you say anything about a chupacabra not being real.
Well, there'll always be communities.
There will always be communities, Mike. What's your number one?
All right. The first one I went with is an obvious one. It's the Misfits and the song Who Killed Marilyn. Do you know much about the Marilyn Monroe conspiracy?
You know, I don't, but I feel like there's mostly conspiracies tied to most celebrities that die with any level of suspicion.
Yeah, so Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her room on August 5th, 1962. She was allegedly found naked with a phone in her hand and pills spilled all over the floor. It was deemed a suicide immediately, but right away, people started saying it maybe had something to do with someone else. Hence the whole Who Killed Marilyn conspiracy theories. The most common being that it had something to do with the Kennedys because Marilyn allegedly had affairs with both John and Bobby Kennedy. So some of the theories include that they killed her to shut her up. Another one is that she died doing drugs with Robert Kennedy and he covered it up as a suicide. Another one says the CIA and the mafia killed her to hurt the Kennedys. And they just basically get more and more crazy as that goes on with what happened to that she might not even be dead, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But like most conspiracy theories, it was probably just an overdose and a suicide by someone who was having depressive issues and addiction issues.
I mean, that sounds like the most logical.
Yeah, but the Misfits are really tied to Marilyn Monroe, and Danzig wrote this song about it. And even the song has a little bit of conspiracy because Danzig recorded it himself and released it without Jerry O'Doyle, and it became a big flashpoint between all of them. So, you know, standard Misfits drama. The original version is only on a 45, but I used one off the Misfits box set, and I'm not sure if that is that version or something else. I don't know I can't remember who actually recorded on it. If it's just the Danzig version, or did Danzig do it with somebody else? I don't know. Again, I think it's one of those things. There's a lot of weird stuff about some of the recordings of the Misfits, because Danzig just was kind of a recording machine, and then he would release it as Misfits, and then later on say like, well, those guys weren't on it, so it's really just my song. But anyway, that's how.
Oh, Glenn.
He's the original Glenn.
OG Glenn. Chupacabra. Chicks dig it. And
The Misfits, Who Killed Marilyn? Possibly just Glenn Danzig.
you can't say that.
In the branches of a willow tree, I can see you, but you can't see me. Doesn't really matter 'cause you can't run anyway. You don't know what I wanna do, but I wanna take a second, get a hold on you. So let's get to business 'cause I did come here to play. Chupa, yeah, chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Chupa, yeah, chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Naka, chupacabra. Yeah, naka, chupacabra. It's dark at 9 o'clock. 10 to 12 and it's time to rock. 12 to the baby, I ain't gonna mess around. They say I only like cows and goats. You're the kind of prey that I like the most. Let's get the basic confession that I found. Chupa, yeah, chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Chupa, yeah, chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Yeah. Naka, chupacabra. Yeah, naka, chupacabra. Chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Chupa, yeah, chupacabra. Gonna reach out and grab ya. Reach out and grab ya. Reach out and grab ya. Yeah.
525, oh yes, sir, 1962. Found her lying on her chest, her face all turning blue. You think it was an overdose, or could it have been the pack? Could it have been the Kennedy? Was it LAPD? It ain't a mystery, baby, not to me. Funny mystery, baby, not to me. Radical, 60K, breath so full of love. No extra, no, the blood has no kind of put up. 525, August 5th, 1962. Make it seem a suicide, make it seem a suicide, make it seem a suicide, make it seem a suicide. But it ain't a mystery, baby, not to me. Funny mystery, baby, not to me. But it ain't a mystery, baby, not to me. Funny mystery, baby, not to me.
It was a choice cut, Mike. Real choice cut you had there.
Yeah, I got to stop using the Misfits. I use them too much.
Do you? Do you use them a lot?
I feel like I do. But
I feel like
they worked for this topic so well. Like, because I kind of use it like Bullet too. This is about Kennedy's assassination.
so much.
Yeah.
So much depth in that pick, Mike.
Yeah.
You had to use it.
Had to.
My next one is still in line with the fun-loving conspiracies of years gone by, but arguably the less fun of the bunch. This one's about aliens, Mike.
Ooh.
The Great Conspiracy.
Ooh.
And the song is We're Not Alone. The band is The Setbacks off of the album Dead Reckoning. And there's not really much more to say. It's very forthright in its discussion of aliens. There's really no further dissection needed of this song. I've never really been one for the interest of aliens. How about you? Are you an alien guy? You like that stuff?
Like I said, when I was younger, I was always into that kind of thing. I think it's just been ruined a little bit. Do I believe in aliens, like little gray guys or green guys? Probably not. Do I think it's absurd to think that we're the only intelligent creatures or living creatures in the entire galaxy? I think there's a probability that something else is out there, but I don't think it's like ET or like
right.
or
I mean,
Elf.
wouldn't it be great if it was ET as opposed to like the aliens from A Quiet Place?
Yeah, or Predator.
Like-
You don't want Predator around, but
No,
it could-
I'd much prefer ET.
or Elf. I mean, Elf's a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, no one likes cats anyways.
Yeah. If Elf showed up, I'm all for it.
Yeah, like things like that, I guess I enjoyed. But like, I don't know. I've never really cared much for aliens, like within pop culture, movies, TV shows, that kind of stuff. Like, you know, there's the occasional X-Files that was enjoyable. I think like,
Yeah.
Do you remember that movie Fire in the Sky?
I was literally just going to say, I think that's one of the only movies I've ever been super scared about.
Yeah, and I feel like I should watch it again now and see if it holds up.
I doubt it's scary anymore.
But like that was the one that I always remembered as like a scary alien movie.
Yeah, totally. I was scared of that one. I remember seeing it at Cell Center movie theater and being like terrified that night.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's only been like a handful that I really have enjoyed. I watched The Quiet Place 2 the other night. Have you watched that one yet?
I haven't seen part 2 yet, but I did notice it was on Amazon, so I was stoked because
It is, yeah.
I liked the first one quite a bit, and I didn't think I would.
Yeah, I was a little bummed I couldn't see or didn't see it in theaters because I remember seeing the first one in theaters and like it was an experience, right? Because it's so quiet. And then when those speakers kick in, my God. So it wasn't like, I mean, it still had its jarring moments for sure. But yeah, it wasn't quite the theater experience in the second installment of it. So that's it. That's it, Mike. That's all I have to say about aliens and this second choice.
Okay, well, my next choice is about the blood moon prophecy. Do you know what the blood moon prophecy is?
Wow. Is it a prophecy or is it a conspiracy, Mike?
Well, there's a little bit of both.
All right. I love a little bit of both.
So-
Salt and pepper.
So basically, blood moon prophecy is like standard end of the world biblical stuff, right? Like, I can't remember.
I love how you called that standard. You know, just
Well.
your standard apocalypse.
Well, it's like, I believe it's in Revelation where they say something about the world. A sign of the world ending is the moon's going to turn blood red. So
I think it's also in Zelda on Switch.
Well,
Breath of the
probably.
Wild.
Probably.
Yeah.
So of course, some people have taken this very literal, and there's like this whole big like conspiracy about what the blood red moon's going to come and do, and if it's going to, when is it a sign of the end of the world? And a few years back, there was a bunch of Christian preachers that made some money off this by like creating books and predicting dates. Like, I don't know if you remember, it would have been like maybe 4 years ago when there was like a big thing. They're like, these preachers all predicted the world's going to end on this day because the lunar eclipse and the blood red moons are going to line up. Of course it didn't. So, you know.
Is this Red Hot Moon by Rancid?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, basically, if you did any sort of science research, there's a reason for blood moons and stuff. But, you know, why worry about science?
What is a science?
Yeah, we don't know what science is. But the song I picked is called Blood Red Moon. It's by the Dahmers. The Dahmers, it's not specifically about this idea of the blood red moon, but throughout history, there's like a theory that blood red moons are evil, and there's like a lot of mysticism involved with like witches and occult stuff. So this song sort of is about that more, but it ties it all in together. The song rips, the conspiracy doesn't. That's it.
Nice. That's a great tagline.
Yeah.
That should have been what they used to sell the album.
Anyway.
At the old HMV.
Yeah. The old HMV. Still exists in the UK.
Does it?
Yeah.
That seems like a conspiracy.
Records are a conspiracy to steal your money.
We're not alone. The Setbacks and
The Dahmers' Blood Red Moon.
We're not alone. The odds are in your favor. BT phone home. There's nothing left to savor. We're not alone. Just look up in
I gotta keep the alien thing going.
Nice.
Just for another moment here. This was a band I left off a list once upon a time, and I never forgave myself for leaving them off that list because they really did belong on that list. This album is their only album that they put out, and it came out nearly 20 years ago, which blows my mind. But this album is still a banger. Like I listened to it in searching out this song because I figured there's got to be something on this album. The band is Boxcar Racer.
Ooh.
And the song is All Systems Go.
It's about aliens? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know that it's exactly about aliens, but knowing what we know today about Tom DeLonge, there's probably more
aliens.
songs on this album about aliens than we know.
Yeah, probably.
It's definitely safe to say it's about government conspiracy of some sort because that's actually in the lyrics. The government is lying.
That makes sense.
So I would say likely aliens is what this song is about. Likely. I don't have confirmation, but likely aliens. Not even allegedly. I mean, I guess I'm alleging, but likely is what I'm comfortable with.
Stop alleging aliens. But
you know what's crazy about Tom DeLonge and aliens is the fact that the government is now supporting his information of aliens and being like, yeah, I mean, what he's got is right. That's what we have. Like, what?
I hope there's somebody in the White House that was just like a big Blink-182 fanboy and was like, Tom, I got something for you.
It's so crazy to me because I feel like that guy was like put on an island as like that guy. You know,
he somehow came out being more sane. Right?
Like it's crazy. I feel like Angels and Airwaves probably has even more songs about, you know, that kind of those kinds of discussions. But I never really got into that band, Angels and Airwaves.
I feel like they're a band I enjoy when I hear like a song. Like when they release a single, I'm always like, oh, that's a really cool song, but I could never listen to a full album of them.
Why not? Like what's
it's too much. Like it's like,
is it all the same? Is that what it is? Like, is it all just kind of run into one another?
Yes and no. I don't know. It just feels long. Like they feel long and drug out.
Dragged out, I think. I don't think it's drug.
Well, maybe there's drugs involved too.
Maybe. I feel like they're kind of like Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah, but Coheed's got like more like interesting stuff going on.
Okay.
Yeah, more to them.
I think the interesting thing about Boxcar too is that like, I mean, Tom's voice is very like identifiable. But the music of Boxcar was so different to Blink-182. I mean, definitely Blink kind of like shifted in that way to having more of like that Boxcar sound. But I feel like when Boxcar Racer came out, it was a big departure despite his voice. And like that whole album is like very different. Like each song is really different.
I might have to listen to it again. Like I liked it. I liked it a lot when it came out. Who's in the band again? It's Tom, Travis, yeah. And I don't know who the other guy is. I think it's just a 3-piece though. Yeah, I can't remember. Because there was also Plus 44 came out at that same time too, right? Which is like Mark's other one, right?
Right around that time with Travis. Yeah. He was totally the kid being transported between mom and dad's. You're at mom's this week. You're at dad's next week.
He's a poster boy for why that shouldn't have happened.
There you go. There you go.
I should get to my pick, unless you want to talk more about Boxcar Racer.
That's it. That's all I want to say about Boxcar Racer. All systems go. We don't know that it's a song about aliens. I'm saying likely about aliens.
This works because my next song isn't specific about the conspiracy.
Okay.
But it's an overall idea of something big and sinister out there controlling things. So I think that's a constant in conspiracy theories. Especially heightened nowadays with like the far right and COVID and Q and all that shit, that something's controlling governments or people. The song is Dream Police, originally by Cheap Trick, but I went with No Use for a Names version of it.
That's a great choice, Mike. That's a great pull.
So I thought a song about a paranoid man who's convinced his dreams are being monitored and driving him insane is fit everything for this topic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I'm impressed. I'm impressed by that pull, Mike.
And I like the sound clip that they use from Fast Times in the no use thing. Because anytime I hear Dream Police, that's the first thing I think of. You got to hear the tunes. Damone.
Did you think of Cheap Trick's version first and then search out to see if did you remember No Use? Did it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I remember it. I like Cheap Trick a lot, but I figured No Use fit better for our podcast than using Cheap Trick.
I would, it's on brand. No Use is much more on brand.
Yeah.
It's a great pull, Mike. I really like it.
Thank you, Nathan.
It might be the pull of the episode. We should maybe start doing that. And it could sound like word of the day on Pee-wee's Playhouse, like where everyone just goes crazy. It's the pull of the episode. Ah! What do you think?
I like seeing you do that. But we would have to converse about what we're doing before then to decide which one's the pull.
We could just do it live.
Or you could just decide which one's the pull.
Like I know without knowing what the rest of the podcast holds, that's the pull of the podcast.
All right.
Anyways, all systems go. Boxcar Racer and
Dream Police, No Use for a Name.
Left my fear behind me of those lights out by the station. The government is lying. The youth, they won't believe them. We can't go wrong, can't get fucked this time. Speak up now, lose or get left behind. When will this be over? This cold and bitter season. The government is lying. The truth is found with reason. We can't go wrong, can't get fucked this time. Speak up now, lose or get left behind. We can't go wrong, can't get fucked this time. Speak up now, lose or get left can't go wrong, can't get fucked this time. Speak up now, lose or get left behind. We are the underrated, all forgotten, intimated. Speak up now, lose or get left behind.
How about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. The Dream Police. You live inside of my head.
take a break from the aliens now, Mike. I'm actually going to take a full-blown departure. The
All right.
aliens are done. Do you have any alien choices coming up?
I do.
Alien 8 by Lagwagon, maybe?
Oh, I didn't even think about that one. That's a good pull. It's not really about conspiracy, but I like that song.
Well, it's about aliens, and aliens are about conspiracy.
Is Alienated about aliens? I thought it was about like, I don't know. It's on double platinum, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't think it's about aliens. Maybe it is.
either way, it's probably not. It's probably not about aliens, but it has the name Alien in it.
This is true. We also could have picked Alien Ant Farm.
No, that's a band name. That's not a song. There's a difference. I would accept Alien 8 by either Lagwagon or the Mad Caddies or Joey Cape. There's 3 versions of it out there. I prefer the Lagwagon version the best, I think.
They're all standard and good.
They're all standard and good. Okay. This one is much more an interpretation, Michael, of the topic. This one is where the connecting, the not top 5 songs about conspiracies, but rather top 5 songs connected to the conspiracy.
I like it. I like it.
That's where that part comes in.
This is your conspiracy board with like pins and pictures and strings tying everything together.
Yeah, into a central theme in the middle.
All right. This is where the Rand Corporation takes over.
The song is called Damages. The band, I don't think has been played on this show once, is Braid.
No,
and I know you're a little bit of a Braid fan.
I am. Maybe we played them once, but it would be a long time. It would have been the first like few episodes.
It's worth going back and checking. I'll wait.
No, that's all right.
Okay. No Coast is the album. And the song is very much like about a conspiracy fueled by a drug sick mind.
Which I think a lot of conspiracies are.
Right?
Yeah. Conspiracies and drugs seem to go hand in hand.
Right. I mean, it's very much like about the hallucinations and the disconnect of what's real and what's not real, where, everything starts to feel like a conspiracy. We've all encountered people like that in life, and it's kind of scary. And I think what's scary about it is that they truly believe in that moment that, everything's against them, everyone's against them, and it's super unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this song's all about how I perceive it is drug skewed perception. And there's like a very like kind of chaotic feeling associated with this song, like kind of this ebb and flow of chaos. Great songwriting. Not a band that we play enough on this show, for being such a great band that they are. They kind of hit and miss for me though, despite their greatness.
Oh, they're giant hit or miss for me too. Like when they're great, they're amazing. And when they're not, it's just kind of like, it's a little too artsy for me.
Yeah. Do you listen to any of Bob Nana's solo stuff?
I have. I'm not super crazy about it, but some of his other projects are good and stuff. So I did see Braid play in Texas.
And did they play the hits or did they do a mix?
I'm not going to lie, Nathan. I was fairly intoxicated at the time, and which is a thing I hate doing at shows, even when I was a drinker. I hate being drunk at shows because I hate missing something that I was like really excited to see.
You had an alcohol sick mind.
Yeah. It was something.
Yeah.
Something. This is kind of a fun one.
Oh,
as fun.
Excellent.
It's not as it's one of the more interesting, fun conspiracies. And the band is called Deforesters. Do you know Deforesters?
I do not know Deforesters.
Deforesters are a band from Toronto, and it's got the drummer from Pup and a couple of members from a band called the Roman Line. I think they've only got the one album out, and it's like orgcore, I guess, pop punk. At the time, it was like really hyped as an orgcore album, but I think people don't like that term anymore, so it's done.
I love that term. What are they going to call orgcore if not orgcore?
Beard punk?
Oh, that's awful. That makes me sad.
I guess, I don't know. Old man punk? punk for old dudes.
No.
No,
Isn't
it's
that
horrible.
dad rock?
Yeah. All right, let's stop. The reason I picked this song is because it talks about two conspiracies. The first being the Denver airport conspiracy. Do you know much about the Denver airport conspiracy?
I do not.
And the Denver airport is a weird, crazy place, and it's got a lot of kind of big conspiracy theories about it. There's talk about it being built by the Illuminati or Freemasons or some other New World Order group. There's supposed to be secret bunkers. There's allegedly a vast connection or network of tunnels and subways used by these secret organizations or possibly aliens. It's kind of like outside of Denver, and there's a whole bunch of weird art. So there's all these weird stories about it, and like some of the art stuff is supposed to give clues to the end of the world, and there's like all this stuff. Like there's a giant horse statue, and people say it's like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Although having seen it in person, I just assumed it had, and not knowing about the Denver conspiracies at the time, I just assumed it had to do with a bronco or a cowboy. But maybe because we live in Calgary and we see this kind of art all the time, we don't think much of it. But anyway, there's this whole idea that the Denver airport is this big, crazy conspiracy, government conspiracy, or worse. On top of that, the song also references reptoids. Do you know what the reptoid conspiracy is?
Are they the reptile people?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I am aware of the reptile people.
So the reptile people, for those who don't know, is there's like this idea that the reptoids are a secret race of shapeshifters that have taken prominent role in a conspiracy against humans. So they're supposed to be politicians or musicians or people involved in the media. And the catch is they also drink blood, like the chupacabra.
Well, reptiles do drink blood.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a big tie-in that the reptoids might be involved in the building of the Denver airport. So yeah, it's bonkers and stupid. But probably the truth is that the Denver airport is super big. It was over budget and a controversial project. So there's probably always going to be secret stories about backdoor deals and the reason why it's not in Denver proper and all that sort of stuff. And it's like over budget. But one of the funny things is that the actual like people that run the Denver airport, like the corporation, they play up these conspiracies now because they know it attracts people to spend money there, which I think is hilarious. That somebody's like, yeah, it's ridiculous that we have all this crazy art. And people think there's reptoids running secret tunnels to the White House from here. Let's just play it up.
Like, I just imagine like a reptile mascot walking around, like taking pictures with tourists and like a gift shop that's like, I went to Reptor Land.
Like on Twitter and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, what does this weird art thing mean? Or what do these symbols mean in the airport? Whatever. Anyway, the band
They've got to have t-shirts, right?
Oh, I bet
do they have t-shirts?
I bet you they do. I don't know. I didn't know anything about it when I was in there. I've been there 3 times, and the one time when I went to Denver with friends, I knew nothing about it, but somebody brought it up once we got into the airport about all the art and how we should look around and stuff. And I was like, so I've read about it since. It's such a bonkers thing. I don't even.
Wow.
But people like a good story.
Damages, Braid, and
Deforesters, a song for the reptoids of Denver International Airport to sing.
Settle into my body, and the body settles into the bed, and then the bed settles into the grid of 1 million of the damages people did. I need drive, otherwise I might dance into traffic. I'll take 2 quick shots of the system crystals and medicine. The Leslie spit soaked up with yesterday's rain. Can't sleep today. And the pissing match inside my brain can't come to terms with which side takes the blame. Can't sleep today. If you're not sleeping and I'm not sleeping and I'm not sleeping at all. If you're not sleeping and I'm not sleeping and I'm not sleeping at all. 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 If you're not sleeping and I'm not sleeping and I'm not sleeping at all. If you're not sleeping and I'm not sleeping and I'm not sleeping at all. 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 Sleeping at all.
Thanks to everyone who has been listening. We did actually get an email from someone who tracks this sort of thing, and apparently we're moving up in the world of music podcasts, and that means you guys are listening. So thank you very much for checking us out. And if you feel inclined, pop a nice review in on Apple Podcasts. I don't know if Spotify does reviews. Do they do reviews or anything?
Not to my knowledge.
Just say something nice about us.
There you
Anyway,
go.
either that or is another shady attempt by some scammers to get us to sell ball terminals. But I like to pretend you guys are just listening.
They don't know what that's about, Mike.
Well, they don't need to know.
Okay.
That's for the ball trimmer people and the money that they're trying to give us. But fuck
Unsuccessfully, though.
fuck the man. I'm not trimming my balls for anybody's money.
And there goes the money.
Yeah, there
It's
goes our
gone
money.
before it even came in.
But yeah, seriously, thank you all. Thanks to the WhatsApp crew, even though you tried to bring Good Charlotte into the conversation the other night. If you want to join that, hit us up with a message either via email or on Instagram. If you follow us on Instagram, it's at High Fives Podcast. We post listener lists, and every Friday, Nate or me will suggest an album to check out. So if you're looking for new music, that's a good way to interact with us. And if you do a list for this episode, feel free to send in your favorite conspiracy theory or mystery. And let's hear what your next pick is, Nate.
You know, it just occurred to me, like I really struggled with this list, and it just occurred to me, like what band would have had, you could have done 5 songs easy just from one band, and maybe it's going to ruin your last pick. I don't know. But the Lillingtons.
Oh yeah, they would have been perfect.
Their whole like everything's about conspiracies, isn't it?
I didn't even think about them, but
I didn't think about them either. That would have been the choice. I mean, that would have been the obvious one that neither of us thought about. So anybody who's compiling a list, there's your start. The Lillingtons. I forgot about them.
Don't forget.
Never forget. Hashtag. My last one, Mike, is again, it's more of a reaction to the constant threat or the perception of conspiracy. I don't know that that's what it was written about, but when I heard this song just like magically come up on the shuffle the other day, it was like, there it is. There's your last pick. The shuffle handed it to me.
The shuffle gives.
It does. It does. The shuffle gives. You got to give, Mike. You got to give. We'll leave that one inside. That's too much to unpack.
Yeah.
The song is We Know Who We Are, Who the Fuck Are You by Red City Radio. And it comes off of the split Red City Radio and the Gamuts, which ultimately brings us full circle. It brings us right back to the beginning of this podcast, Mike.
That's a good tie-in.
You like that?
Yeah.
This song was written 10 years ago, and I think probably, well, maybe not more relevant today than before, but certainly continues to be relevant. It just kind of talks about the fact that like today, every thought, opinion seems to be polarizing. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, things like whether Tony Hawk 1 and 2 originally had vocals in the soundtrack or not. And the idea of if you're not with me, you're against me. That there's only two sides to everything. There's no more in between. The last line of the chorus is, this conversation is getting us nowhere. And I think that really encompasses the whole spirit of a lot of what we've been talking about.
Isn't that just the general theme of this podcast? You versus me?
That could be the tagline. This conversation is getting us nowhere. Did you watch that Bo Burnham thing on Netflix?
I have not.
Have you heard about it?
I saw it pop up on my Netflix thing, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's pretty weird. I enjoyed it. It's definitely out there and more weird than most things I've seen. But there's this bit in it that it doesn't ruin it. Like, you can still watch it. I'm not giving anything away. It's a comedy show. But there's this bit in it where he's sitting there and he's just like so frustrated. And it's just this one man show that takes place in a single room over the span of a year. And he's just looking at the camera and looking down and looking at the camera and looking down. And he's like, could someone, like, could just someone, just anybody, just one person, just someone, one person, anywhere, just one person, anyone, just anywhere, just shut the fuck up. And the whole thing just continues on from there about his frustration with nobody having the ability to shut the fuck up anymore.
Was this really relatable for you, Nate?
Yeah.
I feel like that's
felt a little relatable.
I feel like that sums up your personality.
Really?
Of like, won't you guys just fucking shut up?
I don't know that I'd say that sums up my personality, but definitely feelings I have from time to time.
Yeah, maybe that's more what I'm saying, not your personality.
All right. Well, thanks for clarifying. You're welcome.
You're not a total piece of shit. You used to be a piece of shit.
When I slicked my hair back?
Yeah. When we used to go for sloppy steaks and our dangerous nights.
So that's my fifth pick, Mike. That's it. That's all. That's where I leave you.
All right, Nate. I've got a long story for my fifth pick, so I apologize. But
excellent. You were about to say Fitbit, but we both know you don't have one of those.
No, I'm not fit. Nate, have you ever heard of Valiant Thor?
Like, is that a band or is that like the full name of the comic book character?
No, it is a band and the name of my next conspiracy theory thing.
Okay. I feel like I have heard the band or heard of the band Valiant Thor.
Okay. So the idea of Valiant Thor just was new to me. I heard it on a podcast a few weeks ago. I knew the band because we saw them at Warped Tour, and Volcom had given us permission to use them on a compilation that we were supposed to put out that we never put out back in the day. They're kind of a metal band with some thrash tendencies and stoner rock tendencies. Think of Thin Lizzy with like, with the more like metal sound to them.
Sounds like orgcore to me, Mike.
No, but it's something that you probably won't like. In fact, I wrote here, this description probably makes Nate cringe.
Well, if you wrote it, then it must be true.
Yeah. Anyway, their name, Valiant Thor, I always assumed had to do with Thor from the comics or Norse gods or whatever. But nope, it has to do with a conspiracy. And one of the crazier ones I've ever read about. It is about an alien that came to the world to work with the government. So the story goes that in 1957, an extraterrestrial landed outside of Washington, D.C. Allegedly, the creature remained on Earth for 3 years and worked with the government and scientists. A couple of weird things in this already weird story is that the being looked like a human, could speak any language, and seemed able to predict the future. He also had a name, which was Valiant Thor, and claims to have been from Venus. So here, this is crazy, hey?
It is crazy.
It's super crazy. So Valiant Thor lands, and he lands on Earth, and 2 police officers meet him, and he compels these people to take him to the White House, which sounds crazy already. Or like, why are these cops going to be like, yeah, this thing just says take me to the White House? So
this thing has a name, Mike, and
Valiant
his name is Valiant Thor.
So the story goes that Valiant Thor goes to the White House to meet with Eisenhower and Nixon, apparently in some underground tunnel. So like, again, underground tunnels must connect to the Denver airport probably. And the crazy thing is that Eisenhower is all about it. And there's a whole big side plot where Eisenhower was allegedly super involved with aliens and UFOs and had side deals with aliens that they could take people as long as they gave him government like technology. So I don't know if that's a whole other weird conspiracy hole you can go down, Eisenhower and aliens. Anyway, Thor says he's from a space council and they need to intervene in Earth's affairs to get rid of nuclear weapons because it's going to cause the end of the world and probably the universe. Eisenhower and Nixon give him the time of day, but he gets cock-blocked by the CIA and the Secretary of Defense because they don't want the world to know there's aliens.
Did the research you say use the phrase cock-blocked?
No.
Or did you put that in?
That's my own interpretation.
That's your interpretation.
That's my interpretation of the events that occurred. So they say that they don't want the world to know about aliens and that people wouldn't be prepared for this, but they'll take into consideration what's going on. So if this isn't weird enough, Thor gets in touch with some Christian evangelist named Dr. Frank Strange, which also sounds like a comic book character.
Isn't that Doctor Strange's first name?
No.
Okay.
Stephen Strange. Not that nerdy. Thor tells Strange that Jesus was an alien too and that God's pissed off at humans and they need to fix this. So Strange goes to work with him and they go on this whole big thing with like where Strange goes to these conferences and tries to explain why UFOs and the universe are connected to the Bible, etc. To this day, they say that Thor still lives here, lives outside Vegas in a secret ship. And Strange writes books about UFOs and he's probably scamming people. The weird thing is... there is some minor credibility given to this theory because a bunch of people have confirmed that Valiant Thor exists. There's a pic of him. There's a bunch of classified documents, government documents in the United States that have pics of Thor working for the government.
Valiant Thor.
Valiant Thor, sorry.
You have to say his whole name or else I start thinking about the comic book character.
And for some unknown reason, the former Minister of Defense from Canada says these meetings happened and he's met Thor, or Valiant Thor, sorry. And Eisenhower's granddaughter says this is all true. Anyway, it's super bonkers, and that's
wow.
And if you ever want to do some research into it, there's a bunch of interesting podcasts about Valiant Thor. I obviously don't believe that Valiant Thor is a real alien. I think that Strange guy probably made it up for a book, and people just ran with the story. And probably picked a semi-good-looking dude that had government photos and be like, "Yeah, that's Valiant Thor."
I really hope that people stuck with this episode because this right here is the most entertained I have ever been in 71 episodes. And I thank you for that, Michael. I really and truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
I think you should thank Valiant Thor.
Well, if he were real, I certainly would.
He's in Vegas.
I certainly
Go find
would.
him.
I mean, of all places, of course, that's where he'd be, right? Like, is there any other place for aliens to go?
This is like a super summed up version of it. There's a lot of crazy stuff like about tech that allegedly he knew about before we ever had it. And like, there's some talk that there's 2 other beings from the Space Council that are also here working with Valiant Thor. And I don't know. Just seriously, it's worth reading up on because it's so bonkers. But that's how the band got their name. And that's it.
And that's it. What's the song, Mike?
Oh, shit. The song is I Hope the Ghost of the Dead Haunt Your Soul Forever. The song has nothing to do with Valiant Thor, but I couldn't pass up this story. So I had to go with the band name.
Oh, wow. Do they have songs about Valiant Thor? Do you know?
I don't know if there's any specifically about Valiant Thor, but there's a lot of stuff about the cosmos and things like that. And
It's been impressive to watch you work through this episode, Mike. Really impressive.
thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more time. We know who we are. Who the fuck are you? Red City Radio and
Valiant Thor. I hope the ghost of the dead haunt your soul forever. Thanks for listening. Stay cool. Be excellent to each other. The truth is out there.
Watching all my friends lose touch, thinking this is all competition and such. When I thought we were just telling the world how we feel, hoping somebody else felt the same way. So I speak like peace while it's allowed. Never stand in the flow as the words spill out. Instead of talking shit behind your back when you're not around, I keep my sights on what's important. It's time we all tear it down. And it's time we all tear it down. Overrun bullshit politics and overrun lies. There's an hypocrite and if I ask if we nothing here, tell me something better to believe in. All my life trying to share a melody, and all they've done is try to tear me down. The only thing that we can all agree on, this conversation is getting us nowhere. This conversation is getting us nowhere. It's a man's game, every talk will jack. It's a race to the bottom of a fucking lap. You think you're feeling lonely, that's where you're at. So don't expect to see me there. The fingers born in the gauntlet throne, and teaches a clear colors in the zone. I'm carrying my sins, they are my own, but we're all in this together. And how fuck have we become jaded, man? And why have we chosen all the men that are pulling? Stop and we all tear it down. This is the life we've chosen. We're all in this together. This conversation is getting us nowhere. This conversation is getting us nowhere. This conversation is getting us nowhere. This conversation is getting us. Overrun bullshit politics and overrun lies. There's an hypocrite and if I have to be nothing here, tell me something better to believe in. All my life trying to share a melody, and all they've done is try to nation, casinos ruined. All nations, will they trust you? The ghost of all nations, will they crush you? Someday when your feet are up, you'll soon be shouting never. All the ghosts of the dead come haunt your soul forever. It's too late to save your skin, playing the role of dumb religious men. You'll regret all those you fought when your demons eat you up. All these things are slicker than oil. Can't get forgiveness, it's too late. All these years, it's all the same. So many wishes drowned in hate. I really made the more adequate decision. For all those lives that you made wrong, and not following my father's name. It's the karma's not enough. All those sins are thicker than all they own. Ski plans for years. Crack their fingers and smell real big. While your family drowns in tears. Someday when your feet are up, you'll soon be shouting never. All the ghosts of the dead come haunt your soul forever.
Something weird just clicked on my computer, so I just don't want it to fuck around with.
You don't want it to fuck around?
Yeah.
What weird clicked on it? Like a conspiracy clicked on it?
Yeah. They're onto us. The weird men are coming.
What was it? The green men or the
men
suit
in black?
men?
The men in black, man. They're coming.
MIB forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever?
Sorry, it's just like Flash wanted to uninstall all of a sudden. So, okay.
Oh, uninstall.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
not good.
No, I'm all good now. I'm ready to roll.